Women's Broadcast Television Network, here with Ilona Selke, and today my special guest is Galen. Galen is an amazing archetype photographer, and she puts on seminars where people, and women in particular, discover their archetypes. And I would like to have Galen help us today discover about archetypes and how they can help us become more incredible women. And I want to let you know that we're here on location at the ARMA Museum and Restaurant, and it's an amazing artistic grounds which annually is also the events ground for the evening events for the Bali Spirit Festival, an amazing yoga meditation festival that happens every year at the end of March here in Bali. So you are involved in the arts community here in Bali, here in Ubud in particular, and I know of your amazing paintings that you've created out of photography of women.
Yes.
And I'm going to show some of these just now as we talk, flash some in, so women or men watching this can get an idea of the amazing artwork that comes out of your simple photography of women in nature. So tell me, how do you help women discover particular aspects that they then show up within your photography?
Well, I begin each session with a meditation. And in the meditation, I have them go really deeply inside and feel into what is being requested of them in that moment. And that usually arises for them in some form. It could be a goddess, it could be a priestess, it could be an animal that wants to be expressed, because each of those things have an archetypal energy. Quality, yes.
So, for example, if you were to ask yourself right now, what energy would like to be expressed right now in this moment in my life, what would you, if you could do your meditation in 2 seconds, what would you feel that archetype could be?
The wise crone.
The wise crone.
Yes. In other words, the elder of a community that throughout her life has had many, many experiences, some of them not pleasant, that have brought her to the point where she is today in wisdom and honoring of herself in every one of those experiences.
So what does it help to have this image of the crone? How is this different than just being you, who you are right now in life?
When you sink deeply into yourself and you ask that aspect of you to come in, sometimes you may not have an answer in your mind. Sometimes you may not be able to bring forth what it is that might be of assistance or service to somebody else who's in need in that moment. And that's what I really want to be, is helpful. And so when I go into that aspect of myself that knows the answers, I can bring it forth in a deeper way than if I just came from my head.
Okay, so if you're in touch with that crone, how does feeling in touch with your crone gift you a energy boost, information, other than just living your normal life?
Because these aspects are in the collective field of humanity. They're different energy patterns. And the crone is somebody who has the wisdom of the ages contained within her. And so if you can access that aspect of yourself that really has a higher knowing, then you can bring it forth, and it's not you speaking. It's not your small self, it's not your egoic self. It's something that's larger than your typical day-to-day self that would go blah, 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 whatever.
So in fact, when you allow yourself to step, so to speak, into the shoes or into the clothing of the wise crone or the priestess or whatever it is, you then start embodying the qualities that are greater than yourself, a field effect, so to speak.
Yes, because those qualities are available to everybody, although some of them are more difficult to access.
You know, this reminds me of the experiments that were done with the Silva Mind Control. Sounds a little strange, that group that trained children to access higher powers. And they said, pretend, and they put the hat on maybe, of Picasso, of different painters. And they said, now go ahead and paint as if you are Picasso. But the children didn't know who Picasso was, but they started taking on the qualities that Picasso had in his paintings. So, like you're saying, when you step into an archetype or into a role, that helps you become more of who you are in the moment. So in other words, if I, for example, what might you see in me? What might you see as the quality that I might embody?
The creator.
The creator.
You're such a creator archetype.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by stepping into that and being more of that, I say it's okay for me to be that. And what else would I be doing if I took on that archetype of the creator?
You know that anything that you want to create is available to you. Whether it's painting, whether it's creating a seminar, whatever it is, you know that you have the access to whatever is needed in that moment because that's who you are in that moment.
So, you know, when I took time to study the archetypes and looked into, there were numerous books, and Carl Jung is the one who actually brought the concept of the archetypes to us. And he said that these are archetypal energies that are like patterns, and all of humanity seems to fall into these pathways of energy patterns. Like the wise crone is true across the board, across all cultures, whether it's Eskimos, whether it's Indians in India or Indians in America. The elder female has a certain wisdom. Now, we can fight being the elder woman, or we could bring the wisdom that has been nurtured in various cultures and embody that. Right? And that's what you're bringing about in your artwork and in the seminars, right?
Yes. We have different exercises that we give to the different women who are involved in this. And through those different processes, they go deeper and deeper and are able to better access those qualities that they may not be able to do on their own.
So can you give us one exercise that we could all do?
Well, close your eyes.
Okay.
And take 3 deep breaths.
Okay.
And sigh. Let it go. And then drop a cord from the base of your spine down into the center of the earth. And let it go down, 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 deep into the core of the earth until it gets to the very center, and wrap around the core of the earth and allow the emerald green earth energy to come back up through the cord. Up, up, up through your base chakra, through your second chakra, through your third chakra, into your heart chakra, and let it swirl in a spiral there. And just allow that to swirl, swirl, that beautiful emerald earth energy. And then white, pearlescent, opalescent energy come from the heavens into your crown chakra. And allow it to just come down through your third eye chakra, through your throat chakra, and then ultimately into your heart chakra, and allow that to swirl with the green energy until it's mixed together, green, white, opalescent, and allow that to fill your heart and allow it to move outside of your heart, throughout your whole body, filling you with light, healing every single cell of your body until you are glowing, your entire being is glowing. And allow it to move outside of yourself so that you're connected to both the heaven and the earth. And from that space, ask the question, what is it that I am needing right now? What aspects of myself want to be expressed? What is coming through from the earth, from the sky, through my heart right now that is wanting expression? And breathe into that. And allow that to take form and allow that to have a feeling quality to it. What qualities are coming up for you? Are there any emotions there? Is there a name that comes? Is there an emotion that is arising in you? And when you have that, breathe into it and energize that. And then take another breath and just let it go. And slowly, slowly come back into regular consciousness and back into the room, knowing that you have brought that with you.
Wow, that's beautiful. And you know, I feel that instead of letting it go, I took on, you know, it was for me, it was an orange, and it turned into like a being that had a stance of like, enough's enough. And, you know, it was that strength, the one that says, stop, enough. And actually, so what I tapped into for me was the need to slow down, you know, and saying, okay, so what I am getting out of this is tapping into a voice that my subconscious delivers to give it shape, form, color that has a message to deliver. And is that what you then do with the photography? You let women take on that image and dress it up?
Exactly that. Yeah, we discuss if they have anything that they want to bring to the table before they even do an exercise, then we bring that into it, because I can tell them to bring fabrics and accessories and jewelry that would enhance that archetype. And it's also good to dance that energy, to let it move through your body, not just stay static.
Okay.
Be playful. It's important to have play be a part of this.
So embody the energy.
Yes, embody the energy.
Now, you know, that reminds me, here in Bali, the people oftentimes really, which we do in the West too, you know, we pray to Mother Mary, and we really believe especially in the Catholic cultures, that the statue is oftentimes even enlivened by the spirit of Mother Mary, or by us connecting through the statue, we talk to Mother Mary, and that energy really comes alive. And it's something we can call into our field, right? We have that here in Bali, and in Buddhism, you know, they practice meditating on deities, on qualities of beauty, of strength, of whatever you want to draw into your life.
Exactly. It's an energy pattern.
So that's what the archetype is. It's an energy pattern that then I discover without even knowing about it. I guess I would call that more of a warrior part of me that needs to be expressed more.
Yes, that's what it sounded like to me when you said what you said. What came to me was, I'm not willing to compromise anymore.
Right.
The stander of truth.
Right. Right.
She stands in her truth. That's the archetype for me.
Right. And for me, it was the need to differentiate between the outward flow of doing and the massive demands, but me saying no.
Yes.
Because I'm such a nice person, you know?
Yes.
And I say yes so often, I have to learn to say, enough's enough.
There are archetypes that really express that. When someone is too nice, then there may be an inner wolf, an inner she-wolf that will stand behind you and guard you and not allow you to say yes when you really need to say no.
Oh, that will make sure I will say no.
Yes.
That's a more positive way of saying it, right?
Yes, right.
And I got confused. That won't allow me to say yes. It's like, what?
It won't let you
It
fall into
will
patterns.
make me sure,
Yes.
that will make sure that I say yes.
It's your advocate.
Right.
It's your strength. It's your advocate in strength embodied in this she-wolf that is an aspect of yourself.
You know what I love is that in the Living from Vision course, we call in 3 advisors that will guide me. And for example, if I did that once, I had one advisor I brought in, and it's not an archetype, but it's something that is archetypal energy. I brought in as an advisor for my business, for marketing. And they're like, well, today we have this idea, you may want to call so-and-so. Or suddenly, just by thinking about this energy, this archetypal energy that's now helping me, those passages suddenly opened up. People came into my life that I had been thinking of calling or connecting to. So working with the subconscious in a playful way, which you do through this great artwork, the photography that you do, the artwork. Now, I want to also interview your partner. Her name is Alejandra.
Yes.
And she's from Venezuela, but living in Bali.
Yes.
And she has been working on stage, expressing archetypal energies, and you guys are going to be working on developing seminars together.
That's right.
So I'd like to take a moment to ask her about some questions of diving into the shadow side of oneself, of one's own conscious,
Sounds
subconscious.
great. It's important.
Yeah, because obviously when you do the photography, although I do remember you showed that Kali image, right?
There was a woman who came to me who said, you know, everyone sees me as really sweet and innocent, and the truth is I have a very dark side and it's never expressed. I said, come to me, we will definitely go there. And I had her down on the earth, pounding and howling at the earth. And when she saw what I actually came up with at the end of that, she was scared by it. And I said, you need to be with that fear and see what that's really about for you. And then I directed her to see images of Kali with its beheaded head dripping blood and the necklace of skulls. And when she realized what that was all about, she was like, ah, I get it now, you're right. It's really powerful.
It's oftentimes the being nice is the unexpressed power, right?
Yes, right.
And then it has to go through the extreme of super expressed power, which is like getting rid of everything, being destructive, really.
Well, you know, those symbols are really just about the transience of life. It's really not about anything
I know,
horrible.
but when a woman who's very nice gets in touch with that part that's pounding and really demanding of that attention to be heard, what it really wants is to be empowered in a beautiful way.
Yes.
And that's the work that I love to do. I work with people all over the world, actually teach it to a lot of therapists, where we can listen to that. And I want to ask Alejandra about that.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your incredible artwork and just the inspiration that one can get from watching these amazing pictures that you create through your photography with women.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Do you want to improve your health, become fit, and reduce your stress levels? Then do what athletes have done successfully for the past 25 years. Work from the inside out with the power of your mind. The Living from Vision online course teaches you how to work from the inside out with the power of visualization. With a downloadable interactive app, you will be guided every morning and evening to help you cross the finish line to your goals. People from all walks of life and all across the world have turned their lives around for the better. Utilizing the power of visualization and pre-experiencing success, people have proven that their lives can be changed dramatically, utilizing the power of their mind. This is the secret key which athletes have used across the globe. It's called internal perspective imagery. Traditional techniques, however, focus on the external form of stress management and goal achievement. You too can find success by joining the thousands of people across the globe by increasing your wellness through the power of your mind. Work from the inside out and download your free ebook today and begin to discover the big secret. And visit us also on our website, livingfromvision.com.
And now I would like to introduce you to Alejandra, who's working together with Galen. And you both do this incredible archetype research, drama expressing, creative embodiment of emotions to help women access what?
Access everything they need to know and they need to improve in their lives. Women have questions, we all have questions, and these questions are messages that we are waiting. We are waiting for these messages, and these messages are all around us. They're waiting for us to tap into them. And we are finding a way to make these messages come to all women so they can improve their lives, improve how they feel about themselves, and disrupt their limiting beliefs and tap into their infinite power.
So, you know, earlier we were talking about the importance of tapping into what might be considered negative emotions. Because a lot of times we know how to do the right things. We know we should do things to achieve things, to be good to everybody. But what we don't know very much is how to tap into all the parts that are contracted, that are small, and how to take that and still be an empowered person. How do you do that?
Actually, there is the belief, normally people think that negativity is something that you have to avoid. But how can you know what you really want if you don't tap into what you don't want? And you have to tap into that. When you are very clear about what you don't want and your dark sides, your shadows, the things that you don't want to admit to yourself, those parts of you are there because they want to teach you something. They want to have you go further and expand you. So through the embodiment of these negative aspects, which are not negative, are just something that we're not used to because we have been raised with the idea that everything has to be good, we have to be good, especially women, we all have to be about positivity, about being nice, about being kind and everything. And some of us can feel encaged in that, very limited and very stressed about that. But actually, the shadows of our personality, of our experiences, can teach us a lot of what we have to do to improve and to answer those questions that we're going through year after year and month after month. So tapping into that negative, let's call it negative, but it's just dark, let's call it dark, side of ourselves, can help us to make friends with that part of ourselves. And actually accept ourselves more. And accepting ourselves is the first thing that we have to do when we want to empower ourselves.
So tell me about a story of your own discovery of something that was dark that you found was not, or you didn't want to really have there, that you used to grow into a more empowered personality.
This is a very good question, and I really thank you, because my last character I have been an actress for my whole life. I started when I was 17, and the last 5 years of my career I explored burlesque, which was already a bold choice because burlesque has to do with a lot of ambiguity. People can label it in a very funny way, and it's nice because when you do this like a job, you can also confront with people's beliefs, and it's good. For me, it was okay too after 20.
So what is burlesque for all our viewers that may not be familiar with it?
Burlesque is a vintage form of art that empowers our body. It can be seen as a striptease because part of the performance is to get rid of certain parts of our costume. But what is it about is to be fierce about our body, be empowered about how we look and how we feel as women, embody our sexual energy, our sensual energy, our femininity. And to do it on stage, it means that you cannot be afraid. And if you are afraid, it's okay. You just go there and you experience this fear. This is what we were talking about the negativity. I embraced fear when I was starting into the burlesque. Fear was my limitation, but I needed to go through that experience to understand that fear can teach me a lot of things. I can embrace fear and understand more about myself. So, coming back to your question, my last character was very dark, because the nice thing about burlesque is that you can it's never invent, you can tune a character, and it's got me always like a form of femininity. My last character was a voodoo queen. A voodoo queen. I come from South America, and we are really into that kind of tradition that also have its dark sides. And so for me, I felt the need of embodying this kind of energy into my art, because I felt that I needed to explore this part of myself. And the funny thing was that it took me 1 year to create this character. And when I was embodying this character on stage, it was such a powerful encounter that I cannot remember what I was actually doing on stage. I just can remember all the messages and the feelings of empowerment, of being fearless. For me, fear was something that I had to heal. And this kind of embodiment of my negative side healed my fear, because I was so afraid of everything that can be unconventional. And we are so encaged like these conventions. We are so limited by how we should be.
Yeah.
You should be this way, you should do like this. This should is upon us every time. And for me, embodying this character that was also disruptive can destroy, but destroy my limitations, you know? And what it was the most powerful and precious thing about this experience was that the people who was witnessing that process could feel that, and I was healing them too, because I was showing them that it's possible to tap into that dark side that actually represent what is negative in you, but overcoming it, you can heal that part of yourself. So you integrate that part of yourself, you heal yourself, and you can heal the witness, the audience. This is why we do it on stage, because it's not only about us, it's about also the public, the audience that is there for us and because of us.
And so it is in life, right?
Exactly.
Life reflects to us what is within us, and the audience, the world around us, becomes the holographic picture show of what's in our subconscious mind and heart.
Absolutely, it's like that.
And it will transform outside of us. See, and this may be interesting to you, I do this type of work internally, and people do it by themselves when they do the Living from Vision course. They go into the feelings that are uncomfortable. You know, it may be anger in the moment, you know, it may be the frustration, the hurt, anything, and we feel it first. We give it color and shape, so we dress it up, we take it outside, and we ask it, what has it been doing? Which is usually something negative and destructive. And then we ask it, what does it really want? If it could already have what it really wants. And that's when this energy tells me the solution. And it's like, oh, you wanted to be strong or be heard or get love or whatever. The positive energy is almost its polar opposite. But it wanted this. It's like the future expression if everything went well. So and then we allow this to give us color, shape, form of what it is it really wants. And by doing so, we allow our negative self to tell us the secret of its own truest intention. And embedded in anything negative is a true positive intention, the higher level of evolution. And then we allow the two to meet, because this is the expression of that and vice versa. They belong together.
Absolutely.
And then we allow this to be merged into the future expression of itself, and what remains is the power that it brought into the play in a way that now expresses its fulfilled desire.
Absolutely.
So like you said, you know, by facing fear, you talk to it, you find out what it actually wants in its most purest form, which is overcoming the boundaries of society, like you said, the shoulds, the...
Yes, in this particular case was about it. But what is important is in this Embody the Goddess project is that there is something in the negative, for example, there is something that we don't wanna go there, right? We don't wanna go there. And by embodying it, we see that there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that negativity. Let's call it like this, that shadow, that dark. There's nothing wrong because we can handle it. We can handle it, of course. And actually, this power, this energy, this divine muse, because it's always a divine muse that has something to tell us, it's going to support us. And it's going to support us forever. And in the experience that we create, because we create like a archetypical dance, a divine encounter, a small ritual, and an experience that a woman can live and embody. You have the memory in your body, in your cells, that you can face your dark side, your fear, your limitation. You can face it, and there's nothing wrong with that. At the contrary, it's going to be empowering. And you have memory, and then the picture is going to be the anchor. So you're going to have that in front of you every time to remember, and to remember that there's no turning back from there, because you already went through that.
And you went through the birth in the transformational process, became what it really wanted.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how can a person right now at home do something? Could you recommend something that would allow them to get in touch with a part of themselves that they may not be wanting to listen to get started on that road of discovering where they really want to go?
Yes. I find that emotions are the compass where we want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do normally with negative emotions? We try to avoid. We try to avoid them, or we try to judge them.
Right.
Oh, judgment, yes. We are, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't feel so annoyed by that person or by this situation. I shouldn't. But my advice is observe that emotion, that negative emotion is there, because you need to listen to
Acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it. Be aware of so when we have this negative emotion, we're gonna accept it first of all. We're gonna observe it, and we're gonna ask ourselves, we're gonna ask that divine muse, because that emotion is an expression of the divine muse that is trying to deliver us a message. So we're gonna tap into our intuition, and we all have that intuition, and try to understand what is behind that negative emotion. What's the message? What is this emotion telling me? And remember, it's never about another person. It's always about ourselves. So it's always something that we have the possibility and the responsibility to deal with. So with tenderness, no judgment, self-acceptance is so important.
Just sitting with the emotion, just giving it time to be listened to. And I think what I love about this is it takes us out of being engaged in the emotion and letting it become an informing energy with which we can dialogue, which gives us access to deeper parts of us that we normally cannot feel.
Absolutely.
And then it's making us step out of the
and this is really
engagement.
Easy. Just modifying our language. We normally say, I am angry.
Right.
And it's not like this. We are not the anger now. I am feeling anger.
Yes.
I am feeling anger. I am not angry.
Right.
I am not the emotion. The emotion is not me. It's just a message that we just have to listen.
So what is the message? Exactly. So that's a beautiful step. So what we can do is just when we feel emotions coming up, notice that they're emotions, feel them, give them space, maybe even color and shape, and let them talk to us. And what I like to do is always ask that energy, what is it you really want?
Absolutely.
And then the process starts. But of course, we don't want to talk you through all of the steps, but this is deep work that then makes people like you and Galen live really outrageously creative lives.
Oh yes, creativity and art is what can heal us, because there is something about art, there is this lightness, this playfulness that allows us ourselves to get rid of the ego, get rid of the mind. The mind and the ego is what limits us for our expansion and expression. With art, with display, with this picture, dressing up like you say, this is what allows us to go into that state of mind, so we can connect actually with what is there, always available for us to live the life that we really want to live. Because this is what it's about.
That's what it is about. Yeah, live the life that you really want to live. So start listening to the parts of you that maybe in society we might consider uncouth, but they will be the liberation force to point you in the direction of what has been blocked and what wants to evolve into something more beautiful.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful message.
I thank you.
Thank you for doing that and the incredible work that you guys are doing together to bring women in touch with their deeper archetypes and feelings.
Yes.
Thank you
very much.
So that was hopefully also very inspiring for you, and I'm looking forward to joining you next week again for the next segment here on Women's Broadcast Television Network with Ilona Selke on quantum living.